What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down why Tesla's showing a lot of strength right now compared to the market, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon, in just 3 days. Anyways, for Tesla, as of right now during the pre-market, we are down a little bit in the 187 area. However, Tesla's still holding up very, very well and showing some strength. So it is still possible we kind of dip a little bit before we try to attempt to bounce again. And we end up breaking the high of the day yesterday in this 190 area. We're going to be looking for a launch all the way up towards the 200 resistance as Tesla's showing some strength. So overall, we did get a little dip in the pre-market as Tesla came down. If the low is in, Tesla should continue to push. If we dip a little bit more, it is still possible we actually get very close to this support over here around this 185 area before we get the bounce. But overall, Tesla is still bullish, and there is a lot of upside potential, in my personal opinion, to get into the 200s. Now, before I break down more details about Tesla in the market, I want to talk about something else. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Please note that 15 minutes before the market opens, we have industrial production and manufacturing numbers coming out, which could affect the market to some extent. Then we have Barkin, Collins, Kugler, Logan, and a bunch of these Fed speakers throughout the day who are going to be giving some speeches. We'll see what these Fed speakers have to say. It may affect how the market ends up moving, so we'll be very, very patient in the process. Now, looking at some more data right now, there's a lot of talk about how the market's at new all-time highs, holding up very well if we look at the indices and etc. We also have other tech stocks who are holding up. We have a bit more upside potential, but you want to be watching to see resistance levels on them. Nvidia is also moving up. The index that basically follows its rebalance is showing Nvidia's weight is now increasing to about 21%. Once again, showing a lot of growth and a lot more weight, at least for the market. Apple Pay Later is being discontinued. Apparently, Apple, which launched its Buy Now Pay Later program last year, is going to be stopped. It's going to stop listing loans like that through the program in the USA. The loans allowed customers to pay off online purchases of up to $1,000 in 4 interest-free payments. This comes after they launched some new loan installments and such. So something else that's worth noting. And besides that, I'm going to talk more about Tesla, at least from here. Tesla right now is in a very, very interesting place. The Interactive Brokers chief strategist is now saying that Broadcom should replace Tesla in the Magnificent Seven. I find that to be very ridiculous because, sure, things could look a little slower for Tesla for the short term, but for the long term, Tesla is going to be one of the most magnificent of the seven. And I think that there's still so much bullish potential that's not really being accounted for over here in this analysis, in my personal opinion. Now, should this happen temporarily? It could happen. I wouldn't necessarily mind because it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Tesla is still super, super bullish and strong on its own league. And then looking forward, I'm very confident Tesla will be one of the most magnificent of the seven, like I said before. I'm not really worried about that whatsoever. There's been some talk about how there have been some delays in Cybertruck deliveries because of some windshield wiper issues, but it's very, very minor. It shouldn't be anything too crazy. This happened under very, very short notice, so Tesla's working right now to improve this situation. Something that's worth noting, but they should be able to fix this ASAP from what I'm seeing. These are just very, very minor delays, so something to be too worried about from what I'm seeing so far. The Chinese registrations have come out. We're actually seeing about 11,700 new vehicle registrations in June's second week. This is about a slight increase year over year, but a decrease relative to what we saw last week. So week over week is actually a 2.5% decrease, but year over year, this is actually it's a slight decrease year over here. Sorry, it's not an increase, it's a little decrease, but not too bad. It's like a 2.5% decrease compared to the previous week, 5% decrease compared to what we saw last year. So once again, a little bit weaker, but things do tend to heat up towards the end of June and as we get closer to the end of the quarter. So let's hope that we continue to grow, at least moving forward. That's something else that's worth noting. Now, considering that their Chinese registration data for the week is ending on June 16th, it's going to appear that the electric vehicle maker has seen quite a few deliveries in 2024 so far. Once again, it's a little bit lower compared to what we saw before. Once again, with these high interest rates, it's no surprise. But I'm not too worried about the long term. This is just a short term thing. Elon Musk was also tweeting about this right here about how mega packs are, once again, they increase electric power generation efficiently and they can buffer power at night for use in the day, which is reducing the need to build new power plants. So it's something else that's worth noting. I think Musk has some good points about this, and this could be very useful in different places such as like Japan, where there's going to be a lot of natural disasters and such that could affect people's lives. So something else that's worth noting from Elon Musk. I'll talk more about Musk in a later video. So what do I see for Tesla? Right now, guys, Tesla's been fighting this resistance around this 188 area. We'll see if we actually get a little bit of a dip. We could actually get closer to 185 if we do dip a little bit more from here. So I'll be watching to see if we get a small dip first before we try to rebound again. In addition, our 200 EMAs around 185.5. So we could be looking for a small dip on Tesla. If we lose that, I do expect us to come all the way down to 1.8. This support right here, 184.5. And then if that fails us, we could be getting closer to the lower levels like the 182s. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think there could be a little dip coming before Tesla attempts to bounce later. I still think there's more upside coming, but we'll be watching to see if Tesla's forming kind of like a cup right over here, like an inverse head and shoulders. So I'll be watching to see if we get a little dip first before we try to continue higher. So I'll be watching that very, very carefully on Tesla, at least for the very, very short term. But overall, I do see potential for Tesla to go to 200. This is just a short term thing. Looking at SPY on the 5 minute time frame, I wouldn't be surprised if we retest our 200 EMA. So we might dip towards 546. Watch to see if we get a bounce off that back up to 548.5. If we lose 546, I'll be looking for a move all the way back down to 544. So I'll be watching to see how well SPY holds up. Look for a little dip and see if we bounce off 546 or not. So that's going to be pivotal for how we end up moving. For Nvidia, as you guys could see, Nvidia is kind of just trading sideways between 131.5. It's been stuck in this range for the past couple of days. Now, one thing worth noting is that there is possibly like a head and shoulders like structure on the 5 minute time frame. We'll be watching to see if that ends up developing. In order for me to turn a bit more bearish, I want to see it lose 130 and hold below that. If we do close below 130, there's going to be a risk of it dipping more. But as of right now, I do want to call out that resistance is in the low 130s is very tight. So watch 131.5 is resistance, 130 is support. We're kind of stuck right now. We could dip a bit on Nvidia, so just be careful. It may pop and then drop first, so watch for that very carefully. For the QQQ, we have pumped quite a bit. Now we're coming down just a little bit. We have a nice looking liquidity grab forming a double top right here. Watch 484 as key support on the triple Q. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way down to 482.5. If we hold this zone, we could be looking for a 486 retest. So I see a risk of us dipping to 484, so we'll see if we bounce or not. But I just want to note that there is a risk of some downside if we lose our 200 EMA. So that's something else that's worth noting. Looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is also dipping. In my personal opinion, there's actually a bit of a downtrend right here. Because we're below 65,000, we have to try to break above this. If we get above 65,000, we'll be pushing back up towards 65,600. If we fail to hold it, we'll be dipping all the way down to once again 64,000, which is where we got this wick. I'll be watching for that very carefully. Just a few more, guys. I'm going to be kind of quick with this. Coinbase. We're kind of flat right now. We're actually dipping a little bit. We have to try to get back above 242 to turn back to bullish to fill this gap to 245. If we fail to do so, if we kind of pop a bit to 240 and reject, I'll be looking for a move all the way down to about 236. So there's a risk of some more downside. We have this gap to fill above. We haven't done that yet. We're actually on the downtrend, so look for a little pop and drop and some more potential downside. For Amazon's holding our 200 EMA around 183.6. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 183 and then lower levels. To be bullish, you want to see it break and hold above 184. If we fail to do so, we're going to continue to dip. So just be careful. Amazon's dipping a little bit. If we lose the 200 EMA, we're going to be dipping all the way down to the 182s. So just be, just be careful, guys. We're looking a little weak on Amazon. Meta as well. If we lose 505, I'll be looking at 502, then 500. And we have resistance at 510. If we could try to break past 507, then 510 could be coming. My gut tells me we might just kind of consolidate in the 505s, and we'll see if we end up losing support. So I'll be watching that very carefully. AMC and GameStop are just trading sideways. GameStop is losing 25. Our next critical support's at 22, so we'll see if GameStop can hold, get back above 25 or not. Otherwise, it's looking a bit more bearish. Same thing with AMC. We're looking a little bit more bearish. We're currently at 4.8. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way down to 4.7. Seeing some weakness as well in the charts. Anyways, for Tesla has a lot of strength compared to the market. It is possible we dip a little bit on Tesla and get close to our 200 EMA. So watch this test of the 200 EMA. Do we touch this and then bounce, or do we end up kind of like dipping a bit more before we try to bounce? I'll be watching that. So expect a little bit of a dip, and we'll see if Tesla gets a nice bounce very soon. And regardless of how much we do dip, I still see a big move to the 200s coming very soon, anyways, over the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours, and peace out.